Alrighty, so we're ready to go. All right, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November 18th regular meeting and public hearings of the Hyde Park Town Board. Please join me while we pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so may I have a motion to accept the minutes of November 4th?
Make a motion?
Second.
And we are going to have to add a resolution at the dais, and this is Resolution 1118-17 of 2019, authorizing the town supervisor to execute a memorandum of understanding among the Dutchess County Water and Wastewater Authority, the Town of Hyde Park, North Cross LLC, and Jeffrey Groves Sewer Works Corporation for the wastewater system at Jeffrey Groves subdivision. So may I have a motion to add that to the agenda?
Second that.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And we also need to all in favor of the accepting of the minutes as well.
I'm sorry? Oh, we didn't do that?
No.
Oh, okay, so did we have a second on the minutes?
We did.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thanks. Okay, so unless our police chief and highway super have something to say during the public comment period, I'll just move right past that. Okay? I think we're good. Okay, so we do have 3 public hearings, and I'll shortly ask the clerk to read the public hearing notice for the town assessor to have filed the fiscal year 2020, the proposed assessment rolls, when she's ready.
Please take notice that the Hyde Park Town Board will conduct a public hearing on the proposed assessment rolls that the town assessor of the town of Hyde Park, Dutchess County, New York, has filed for the fiscal year 2019 for the properties within the Special Improvements District in the town of Hyde Park pursuant to Town Law, Section 239. The public hearing will be held at the Town Hall located at 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, at 7:05 p.m. on Monday, November 18th, 2019, to hear any objections which may be made to the proposed benefit assessment rolls for the following special improvement districts: Greenfield Sewer District, Pine Brook Lighting District, Woodland Grange Drainage. Please note that no other special assessments will be considered. Copies of the proposed benefit assessment rolls have been filed in the office of the town clerk at 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, and are available for inspection during regular business hours on Monday through Friday, 8:30 till 4. By order of the Town Board of the Town of Hyde Park, dated November 4th, 2019, Hyde Park, New York, Donna McGrogan, Town Clerk.
Okay, would anyone like to speak on this, these proposed assessment rolls? Looks like we should move ahead, thanks. Okay, so we'll move on. Actually, then, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Make a motion?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
So we now will open the public hearing for the local law amending Chapter 130 of the Town of Hyde Park Code entitled Solar Energy Systems and Facilities to add a new section entitled Solar Farms. So we're continuing this law. We've had it a public hearing numerous times, and several occasions. But we've received input from various people that have influenced the law that we have written and made some changes, and I think you're still incorporating a few.
Yeah, I plowed through the recommendations and comments of the planning board attorney, and Ted, and I've incorporated all the planning board comments and the planning board attorney's comments into a revision of the law, and most of Ted's. I still have 2 or 3 issues that I was hoping if she's in tomorrow morning, we'll discuss them with her, and then if I can resolve those, we will certainly have the law in final form for the next meeting.
Okay, and one of those comments was the battery issue, and
I've added it's a little bit more complex than I think the planning board realized.
Okay.
There's a, NYSERDA has come out with recommendations for a battery law, which is much more expansive than just the solar law. It doesn't apply to solar laws. And there's a tier 1, a tier 2, and a tier 3, and they're permitted. Some of them are permitted, some of them are specially permitted. I've incorporated some of that in the law where I've allowed it to be an accessory use, but we're going to have to consider adopting a standalone law with regard to
Okay.
batteries, adopting the NYSERDA if we want to
okay.
go that far. But it's impossible to take that
Okay.
law and drop it into the solar law.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
well,
That's fine. Okay. So, I guess I asked if anybody would like to speak on this. So should we leave the public hearing open?
Yeah,
now?
definitely.
Okay, so we'll continue it to December 2nd?
Okay.
That sound?
Yep.
So may I have a motion to continue the public hearing to December 2nd?
Make a motion?
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I did? Oh, yeah, sure, thanks. Thank you.
Hyde Park's finest right there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay, so the third and final public hearing is the amendments to the town code and comprehensive plan with regard to the creation of a town core zoning district. I had a short email correspondence with her last week, and she promised she'd have the revisions to me shortly.
Okay.
So until then, there really isn't much to discuss.
Just
but
adjourn it to December.
yeah, so we're going to go ahead and may I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing to December 2nd.
I make a motion?
And second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So then we should go ahead and move on to the resolutions. Dave,
Okay,
you can
sure.
start.
Resolution 1118-1 of 2019, resolution revising the 2020 preliminary budget and approving the 2020 adopted budget.
Okay, so I do feel very positive and confident and good that we were able to stay once again within the tax cap. There were a couple of very small adjustments to the preliminary budget, one for police assistant, and of around 80,000 to provide for the new position, which is really going to help in the police department for several reasons. One, they are going to be able to work to install or to train all the police staff. Thank you, gentlemen, thanks. On the new software that we're receiving. And the other benefit is they're going to be able to perform a lot of the clerical duties that now fall on the police and often contribute to use of overtime. So I think it's going to be a great position, and I know that we've wanted that to be able to fund that for several years, so we feel good about that. We are I met with the judges, and they did request that we increase their salary somewhat, more substantially than the 2% that the other elected officials received. And so we did make a minor adjustment to their salaries as well. And basically that is to compensate for the increased workload deriving from the bail reform. So, and that is pretty much it. A couple of other just minor changes. So, again, it's another budget in the tax cap. It's going to be a tight budget. We were not able to honor our highway super's request to add additional monies into the paving budget. Otherwise, we would have had to exceed the cap, but we have assured him that when we close the books, that we will take a look at the remaining funds and send some additional funds towards paving. You know, and I know that Ken had been following kind of closely East Fishkill,
Yes.
right? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so this past election cycle, East Fishkill actually had a referendum just for paving that they put out to the voters. It was for $1 million that they wanted to put into the budget. They asked the taxpayers to vote upon this, that they would have to exceed the tax cap for the first year to start funding this, and then add about $1 million a year for paving, because, you know, as we all know, in every municipality, you know, budgets are tight, and with the tax cap, it's really becoming an issue for the towns to try to fund, you know, blacktop, and I think a lot of towns most towns are falling behind on what we should be doing for paving. So they put it out to the voters to put $1 million in and possibly exceed the tax cap, and it actually failed. Not by a wide margin, but it did fail. I'm not sure if the voters just weren't really informed or what it was, but no matter what, it did go down. You know, I'm going to work closely with Howie, as long, you know, with the board, and we do need to come up with some sort of, you know, solution to add money, and if it's bonding, if it's maybe going out to a referendum, you know, to get the voters to you know, to vote on something, on us exceeding the tax cap and putting something in place, but doing what we're doing now isn't really currently working either. So I think that's going to be a big workshop that we're going to have to do, and a work in progress through, you know, 2020, and hopefully come up with a good solution to really start paving more of our roads in a timely fashion.
Yeah, and, you know, it just is this situation where we basically have too small a blanket, and
Right.
when, you know, we pull it up to our shoulders, our toes are cold, and we pull it down to cover our toes,
Yeah.
you know. So the situation really is that, you know, we are working hard to build our commercial tax base, which really is a benefit to all of us. And, you know, we are adding some new properties to that base. This year, we should have increased assessments for the sake manufacturing, maybe in 2020, but maybe not till 2021, but for Belfield. So, you know, some of the bigger projects will help bring in additional revenue, because that's really the goal, rather than to spread those costs to the taxpayers, so.
Yeah, and over the past several years that we've been sitting on this dais, you know, when we walked in, our police vehicles were aging, all of our trucks at the highway were aged out, the equipment was aged out. So I think we're finally getting over that curve on getting, you know, new vehicles and chippers and things like that.
Definitely
So
new equipment, we
you
kind
know,
of
that
priced
has
with a
really, you know,
priority.
weighed a lot. So, you know, I think the next step is really working on our infrastructure, and so I'm excited to start figuring that out, so.
Okay, so,
Need a
any,
second.
Dave?
Well, yeah, the more I think about it, you know, I think we might have to bite the bullet and exceed the tax cap to get more paving done, because as Howie said, we're like 67 years before we can do a road again, and certainly not going to last that long. So whether we do put it to a referendum or bite the bullet and increase the cap, I'm not opposed to it, but we have to look at everything, I think.
Absolutely.
And well, TC did say that it is a possibility for 2021, that we might
Yeah,
need to.
hate to do it,
do
but,
that.
you
Yeah,
know,
we
it's
do.
really important.
Yep, and Joe, I don't know if you had any thoughts on the budget. I know that you've met with Rob several times from Recreation, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of needs there as well,
Yes,
right?
Yeah, a lot of needs there, and we're he's trying to move the budget forward like it was, because he's new,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also some of the wage increases coming up and stuff that are inevitable, and we can't avoid it,
Yeah.
you know, but. you
Well,
know.
I mean, I did get a really nice email this week from someone who noticed the improvements to the parks. And they said, oh, I hear that you have a new person, and I can see some changes, and really appreciated that. So it's nice to get that feedback. And,
Yeah, very good.
and you know, we've met with him a few times, and he's very focused on just addressing a deferred maintenance in the parks. And so we're going to be needing to make some decisions early next year on how we might want to address things such as the pool, because it really does need more extensive work than just general deferred maintenance repairs. So there's, some questions that will arise as we get closer to the new year, or closer to the spring of the new year. And again, decisions that we're going to have to make in terms of allocation of resources for recreation too, so. But,
Yeah, definitely.
but overall, we feel good that we've been able to work closely with all the personnel in the town, and that really is very critical to the success of any municipality, is that your employees feel good about their jobs and that they are adequately compensated for the hard work they do. So it's been an emphasis that we have made throughout the time that we've been here, as well as you say, addressing the capital needs in terms of machinery. So I feel good about the budget, and appreciate all the hard work that the department heads do. And just a shout out to both Howie and Rob here for the hard work that you do all the time to control expenses. It's amazing. It's so good. I appreciate it. And Rob has brought in money for grants recently, a lot, and Howie has just shaved off a lot of extraneous expenses. So without your cooperation, we would have to exceed the cap. So thank you for that.
Right,
Yeah,
and those,
appreciate that.
and the departments working together, with the police bringing their vehicles over to Howie and his
Yeah.
guys, doing in-house repairs. I mean, it's just, it's all working well, and we appreciate that, and the
Definitely.
taxpayers appreciate it too, so thank you.
Okay,
So
so
we need a sec- we need a
we do
second.
need a second, and.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Would you like a roll call?
Oh, sure, why don't we do a roll call?
Councilman Ray.
Aye.
Councilman Marine.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
And Supervisor Rohr.
Aye.
Okay. Resolution 11-18-2, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to accept the benefit assessment rolls for 2019 for special improvement districts within the Town of Hyde Park.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 11-18-3 of 2019, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to submit a statement of unpaid charges to the Dutchess County Real Property Tax for inclusion on the 2019 tax bills in accordance with the provision of town law. And this is pretty much for all the maintenance within the town, for grass maintenance law and town code. And so I want to thank Rich and the building department for doing that for the neighbors, and I'm happy to see that we're
Yeah,
having
so,
this on there.
yeah, just to clarify, when we do enforce the code by going on the properties, which we follow a certain protocol, then we are able to bill the property owners back through the through inclusion on the county taxes. So what
Right.
that, so as you say, that's what that's about.
And, I just also want to mention that, this is really one of the first years where we really have had good enforcement, and I'm really happy to see that, because, that's most of our phone calls that we receive, and
It really
and
is.
to see, we had 6 Curry Lane, 25 Berkshire Avenue, 70 Roosevelt Road, 1 Gary Drive. I mean, it's a lot of work to get to this point and to get, the property maintenance up. So I'm excited. I know that we increased staff down there so we can continue to have more code enforcement, and so I'm looking forward to maybe even having more of these to get our neighborhoods cleaned.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, did we?
Second.
Second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 11-18-4 of 2019, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute an IT service agreement between the County of Dutchess and the Town of Hyde Park and a Municipal Innovation Grant, MIG, program agreement with the County of Dutchess for the New World Police Software Shared Service Project for the Town of Hyde Park Police Department.
And do we have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And Rob, I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah,
Sure.
come right up. Yeah,
Thank you.
please.
So I just want to start by saying thank you for all your support that you give all the departments in the town, especially me as a brand-new chief to the police department. We had a meeting back in May, and I asked for permission to apply for this grant because we need new software. Our software is outdated. We have no way of communicating between the cars and the station, and vice versa, which puts our officers and the people in the community at great risk. I knew this was going to be a very large ask, so I went out and sought some grants, and Aileen and Joanne and I worked hard on this municipal innovation grant from the county, and we were able to receive $187,000 to fund this project almost 100%.
Wow.
Which was just absolutely amazing that we did that. Aileen worked hard behind the scenes. We had to put together a grant with 1,500 characters. You can imagine how much I like to talk. 1,500 characters for me was very hard to do. So Aileen and Joanne helped me put this together. We put together a great grant, a great presentation. We were awarded 100% the money that we asked for, and we're getting ready on Wednesday to start putting this in motion. But it's going to really increase the amount of communication between the Sheriff's Office, Dutchess County 911, Town of Poughkeepsie. You know, we have to understand that just because we're Hyde Park doesn't mean that people that commit crimes don't cross those borders. So right now, currently, everyone has their own programs. No one talks to each other. No one communicates any kind of intel or any kind of information. So it puts these gentlemen here at risk when they're going to a call. Why not, if this information is available, why can't we share it? And why can't we be part of that? So that was my goal going forward when I first got appointed chief a little over a year ago. Thank you for supporting me in my endeavors. And sometimes you look at me like I'm crazy, but you know, I'm trying to do what I can to make and put out the best product that we can for the police department and give the best services that we can here. And thank you for allowing me to do that. And I'm very excited about this project, and I can't wait to get it going. And once we get going and get it up, we're going to invite people from the public in to come in and take a look at it and look at it in action. I'm very, very excited about this.
And I just want to commend you, Rob. You're doing a great job. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And taking a lot of leadership and seeking out those monies. It's wonderful to work with you. And I think what's great about this grant is that we are not the guinea pig. They've worked out a lot of the kinks, because that has been a factor when we installed and wrote a grant and received it for Municity, which is a software product for building and zoning. It really wasn't fully built out, and it has had perpetual problems. So I think with this, because the town of Poughkeepsie already has it, as does the city of Beacon too?
City of Poughkeepsie, Town of Poughkeepsie, Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, and
Right.
Dutchess County 911.
So
So now if a call comes in at the 911 center, they can push one button and the
Yeah.
entire call comes over to us, instead of someone picking up a telephone and trying to communicate those same things to us, which
Mhm.
delays getting us our emergency response to the scene and to the people for, any type of service that they need. So
So at one point in time, I remember having someone call that had called from a cell phone in Staatsburg, and then that call went over to Ulster County 911. Will that still?
Well,
be-
unfortunately, with the software, as far as the 911 program goes,
Mhm.
unfortunately, that's still going to happen, because that's
Mhm.
operated off of cell phone towers.
Mhm.
So the cell phone tower generally in Hyde Park that it goes to is the Ulster County, Illinois tower. So
Mhm.
when it goes to that tower, it will still be there. But what was happening was that person would call 911, it would go to Ulster County. They would ask the pertinent questions, find out it's from Dutchess. They would send it over to Dutchess. Dutchess would then receive it and then have to call us on the phone. So now you got three people
Yeah,
touching
yeah.
one call,
Sure.
where now they can push one button. They'll be able to send that call to
Mhm.
us, and the guys in the car will be able to see that call live and be able to get live updates about whether there's weapons in a residence, whether someone may be intoxicated or under the influence of any kind of drugs, if there's animals in the residence. These are all important things that we were missing before, and luckily no one got hurt.
Mhm.
And I didn't feel we were giving the best product that we could give to the members of the community. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel. The wheel's already been invented.
Mhm.
We just wanted to get our piece of it. But unfortunately, our piece of it costs $187,000. And we see what you guys go through with the budget and trying to keep under the tax cap. And we're trying to, as department heads, we're trying to do everything we can to help you get to that point. Howie's been working on my cars and repairing my cars now for a year. It works out seamlessly. There's never a problem, and he always finds some way to squeeze us in. He knows that our vehicles need to be out on the road, and his mechanics do an outstanding job. And why not utilize the great talents we have here? We have a lot of great talents. We have a lot of people that are very well, high-faceted positions. They wear more than one hat. So why not utilize the people that we have and the talents they have to help save money?
You guys
Oh,
are.
Definitely appreciate that outlook.
Thank
Okay,
you.
well, thanks. Looking forward to
Thank
the
Thanks,
project
Rob.
moving forward.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah, go ahead,
Resolution 1118-5, resolution acknowledging the resignation of Town of Hyde Park Police Assistant Justin Bowman.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry to see Justin move on. but
Yes,
Thank you,
thank you,
John.
Justin.
Thank you, yes.
Resolution 1118-6 of 2019, resolution authorizing the town clerk to solicit bids for the 2020 Town of Hyde Park Highway contractual services.
Second,
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 1118-7 of 2019, resolution authorizing the town clerk to solicit bids for the 2020 Town of Hyde Park Highway material.
Second.
And all in favor? Aye.
Resolution 1118-8 of 2019, resolution amending Resolution 715-4 of 2019, authorizing the town supervisor to execute a change order extending the term and modifying the payments for the Shared Services Agreement, IMA, between the Town of Hyde Park and the County of Dutchess for snow removal to reflect an increase in the cost of Type 2 treated salt and an increase in the wages for Town of Hyde Park Highway employees.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And Howard, thank you again for doing that.
Doing the county roads.
Resolution 1118-9 of 2019, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Supervisor to execute an extension of the intermunicipal cooperation agreement with the Town of Hyde Park Highway Department and the Hyde Park Central School District for 2020.
Second,
And all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks again, Howie.
Resolution 1118-10 of 2019, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute a contract between the Hyde Park President's Youth Football and Cheerleading Program and the town of Hyde Park to run an American Youth Football Conference, FAC, and cheerleading program as part of the town's recreation program for the year 2019.
And, second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 1118-11 of 2019, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to reappoint David Murray to the Town of Hyde Park Recreation Commission.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 1118-12 of 2019, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Supervisor to execute a sidewalk easement for the Taconic Realty Associates LLC subdivision project.
Second,
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 1118-13 of 2019, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the names of the proposed roads for the Jeffrey Groves Estate subdivision.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 1118-14 of 2019, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the removal and trimming of trees and bushes located on Town Hall property.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 1118-15 of 2019, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve a stipulation settlement with the Town of Hyde Park Police Nettle Association, the PBA.
Second,
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 1118-16 of 2019, resolution authorizing the local law adoption process for proposed local law L of 2019 entitled, "A Local Law Rescinding Local Law Number 8 of 2019 to override the tax levy limit for fiscal year 2020 pursuant to the general municipal law."
Great pleasure. Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
aye. And this was the one added at
Yep,
the dais.
yep.
Resolution 1118-17 of 2019, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute a memorandum of understanding among the Dutchess County Water and Wastewater Authority, the Town of Hyde Park, North Cross LLC, and Jeffrey Groves Sewer Works Corporation for the wastewater system at Jeffrey Groves subdivision.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so I would like to give the public another opportunity to provide comments of 3 minutes on any matter of town business. If they would like to do so, just join us at the podium. Okay. So I did want to just give an update because I do see that we have some residents of Beck Road, and I hope, it's Beck, right?
Bennett.
Bennett's, sorry, Bennett, sorry. And so The concern has been the use of a property on Bennett Road as a shooting range by the Sheriff's Department for the last number of years. But in the, that has been going on for many years, but in the last couple of years, there's been a substantial increase in the use of it and frequency. So at our last town board meeting, we had a number of residents attend. We've had many conversations offline with them, and Ken and I met with Under Sheriff Imparati about a month or so back. And as a follow-up to that meeting, I emailed the Under Sheriff and asked him to respond with a few dates and times where he could meet with myself, Ken, and the residents. And I have not yet heard back from him, but I think it may be that it needs to go up through the higher echelons of county government, because I did get feedback from our one of our county legislators, Hannah Black, though she doesn't represent Bennett Road. She did email me and said that that one of the things that we should do, because in my email I articulated the request that the county includes some planning monies or construction monies to build a indoor shooting range. And so, you know, we kind of know our town government quite well, the town local laws that guide the way our town is organized, but not that cognizant of the way it happens at the county. So I was glad that Hannah emailed me and said what I really need to do is to make that request of the deputy county executive and run it through their budget office rather than just going through the sheriff's office. So I do intend to write to them tomorrow and say, you know, this seems to be the direction that we would like to see explored by the county. And, you know, essentially what's going on right now is this particular neighborhood is bearing the full brunt of this important training. You know, we all recognize that our police deserve and need firearm training, but to have it just the local residents bear that burden, it just doesn't seem fair, doesn't seem appropriate or safe. So I have been redirected to follow up with the county executive's office, and I will do that tomorrow. I don't know, you know, we had also received information that there would be that they would no longer be using the shooting range for other agencies. That is
Starting the first of the year.
Starting the first of the year. So, you know, we are working to have the concerns addressed, and we'll be following up with that.
Does the county meetings have open sessions
You know,
where
I don't-
residents can speak?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah, they
know,
do.
Warren? They do?
Yeah, and the 6-4, yeah. or-
So during
Before.
during the county legislative meetings, residents can go and
Yep, there's a period on
open
the
the
regular.
public comment?
Yep.
Is that every meeting, or is it once a
I
month?
don't know, Ken, for sure, but I've been to a couple.
We should probably get a hold of the county. I mean, I would love to go with you residents to a county meeting and
Sure.
speak to, you know, Marcus and the rest of the legislators, so that way they can fully understand and hear what's really going on as well. And I'd be more than willing to join you and do that, so we should really
So maybe you
touch
could
base.
just go ahead and perhaps contact Hannah or Will.
Yeah.
And find out when their next legislative meeting is.
Right.
And then I do have the.
We have all your emails
I have the
still.
emails, and I copied you all on the email that I sent to Kirk.
You received that, correct? The email? Okay.
Yeah. So you'll follow up
I'll
then
follow up.
and find out when the next.
Yeah, I'll follow up,
legislative-
and then we'll just piggyback off your email, so that way we can just keep the chain
Okay.
going. That would be great if we
Yeah,
could do that.
sounds good. I
So,
think that's an appropriate way to follow up, really, is.
I think so, too. I
Because
mean-
we don't have control at this level.
And it's so easy to hide behind an email sometimes, you know. I'm a little sad to hear that we haven't got a response back yet.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe being there in person would help.
Yeah, well, we have to find the appropriate channels.
Right.
Okay, good. Okay, with that, then, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Just before we
Oh,
close,
sorry.
I just want to mention that our tree lighting is
Oh, great.
December 8th,
Eighth,
right?
Is that right?
December.
Okay.
Do we have a meeting on the 2nd?
Yes,
Yeah.
we
All right,
do.
so I can mention on the
Okay.
2nd, but we
Yeah.
do have our tree lighting on
We
the 8th.
do have it on the 8th, that's
Yes.
right.
Okay. Now we can
Okay.
adjourn.
Any other matter of town business? Okay. Then may I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thanks,
December
everybody.
8th. December 8th.
Thank you, I'm so glad you
Oh,
noticed that.
yeah.
I have a very bad habit of doing stuff like that.
I know.